Okay, so good morning, everyone. Joining live today, Monday morning, and then also you that have registered and be watching it later. Thank you so much. I'm excited to offer this first series virtually that you can purchase as a package. And so this first series will be focusing on the somatic movement and its impacts on the nervous system. And specifically, we're going to talk a little bit about the parasympathetic nervous system and the vagus nerve. So each class is going to have a little bit of a talk in the beginning, a little kind of information and education session, and you're just going to get it in little snippets. So about 15 minutes of practice in the beginning that will incorporate some meditation and mindfulness and breath work, as well as a little bit of education, and about 45 minutes of the movement practice. And of course, each practice is going to have quite a bit of rest involved, both sitting and both on your mat. So for this series, to best assist you in your practice, having your yoga mat and then having it covered by a yoga blanket, or as you can see behind me, I have a yoga rug, and they're a more thick woven fabric, and it really provides a nice stable surface that doesn't shift and slide as much as a yoga blanket. When we teach these classes, I'm often just using yoga blankets in my studio, so that would work. If you have a smooth surface, like a wood floor or a clean carpet in your home, that works great. The beauty of this practice is you do not need anything in particular except a surface that is flat and smooth, that doesn't have a sticky surface that won't allow you to slide, and your physical body. Other things that will help you along will be something to sit on. I am sitting on a bolster, okay, a yoga bolster. Behind me, I have my meditation cushion as well, so something to sit on. And you can also sit on a chair to do these mindfulness meditation practices, by all means. The most important part is that you're comfortable. The other things that can help you would be a foam yoga block. Let me show you what that looks like. We won't be using that today, okay, but a foam yoga block. Two, they often come in packages of two. You can order it on Amazon. And then a yoga strap about 10 feet long. And we're actually going to use this today. So I know that everyone that is joining me virtually today and live, you have one of these because we've been working with this. And you just want to make sure that it is threaded through the buckle today so that it's ready to go. We're going to use it at the very end for some restorative poses. For those of you that may not have one, that are joining in your home and you haven't gotten around to getting one, it's okay. I'll show you a variation where you don't have to use the strap today. You could even use the wall. Or if you have a belt or a scarf or some sort of looser towel, sarong I've used when I've traveled, you can pause your video and go grab that. And otherwise, you should be set. You really don't need anything fancy for this class. Okay? Just your body, comfortable clothing to move around in. So let's just take a moment to settle in before we start absorbing this practice. So wherever you land, take a moment to get comfortable. You're sitting in a chair, sitting on your meditation cushion. Take a moment to feel your two sit bones evenly resting on your support. And then allow your torso to sway back and forth, a little bit maybe side to side, maybe even some gentle undulating circles here. Until you find that space where you are completely at ease, balanced on your two sit bones, in the crown of the head over the bowl of the pelvis. Throughout this series, we're going to be integrating simple and effective practices that allow our nervous system to receive signals that it is safe, and therefore releasing chemicals that allow our body to feel calm and protected. So the first practice is simply orienting to your space. So if you feel comfortable with your eyes closed and you know the space you're practicing in, just begin to notice the temperature, the sounds. If you feel like you want to open your eyes and let your eyes take that in, and just kind of notice the colors and the light filtering in your space. And then letting your eyes close. Closing the eyes is not necessary. For many of us, closing the eyes can be uncomfortable. And so keeping the eyes closed, but just simply gazing past the tip of the nose at one point might be your drishti, your gaze, your inner gaze. So again, notice the sounds you hear. You hear the birds in the yard, or you might hear people in your home or animals. Hopefully all your devices are turned off so you can be completely absorbed in this practice and focused. Notice the temperature, any sensations on your skin. Perhaps swallow or just roll your tongue around in your mouth, connecting with that sense of taste. Relaxing the jaw. And take a deep breath in and notice any smells. And exhale out. Let's do 2 more of those. Deep breath in through the nose. Out. One more. Your first tool from this class is orienting to your space through your 5 senses. Your second tool is grounding. Different grounding practices. One of my favorite is walking around barefoot in the grass in your yard or maybe even the forest. And in the yoga practice, we ground to the earth. The practices like yoga nidra, meditation, Shavasana. And so I want you to notice your 2 sit bones on your cushion, on your chair. And also notice any other parts of your body that are making contact with the earth. Sending signals to our body, to our nervous system that we are supported. And that then allows us to release parts of our body that we might be holding tension. So shoulders, jaw, the little muscles around the eyes, maybe even the hands. You could open and close the hands a couple times and then let the palms rest facing down on the thighs. We orient, we ground, and then we breathe. Mindfulness, simple mindfulness practices. And the breath that we're going to begin this series with is the Samavritti. Sama, equal, even, and vritti, fluctuation. So even fluctuations of the breath. And you may have even heard about this breath as the box breath, I've heard it called. And we just inhale for a count of 4 and we exhale for a count of 4. And if that pace feels too short or too long for you, you vary it according to you. So maybe you're inhaling for just 2 to begin and exhaling for 2. Or you feel more comfortable inhaling for 5 or 6, and then you exhale for 5 or 6. And so we're going to just sit for a couple minutes with this sound of deep breath. So once again, make sure you're comfortable. If you feel like you need to shift your body position or shift your legs, I'm just sitting in a comfortable cross-legged posture. I'll demonstrate it again when I move back in different ways we can sit. We've got 8 classes together to explore all these practices. So let's begin our breathing. So big exhale out. If it's helpful to sigh, wiggle a little bit. Then inhale when you're ready. Count your breath. And exhale for the same length. We're not holding our breath at all. Smooth breath. And staying present, once you find the rhythm that works for you, then notice, what's it feel like when you inhale? What's it feel like when you exhale? Can you sense the expansion in the body as you inhale? The softening and the release on the exhale. Can you sense this effect on the body of slowing down, of softening? Mind, I would say, may wander, but most appropriately, I'll say the mind will wander at some point. And you just gently usher it back with compassion for your own self. This is simply a practice. You might find that you want to shift your body slightly, just gentle shifts, and sometimes we hold tension in our body unknowingly, so scanning the body, how can you soften and relax into your posture more? Even out the breath so that stream of breath is smooth and even throughout the inhalation and smooth and even throughout the exhalation. Big exhale. And then let the palms come together at the heart center. Just take a little bow, honoring the self, honoring the space that you have to practice, honoring the teachings that have been passed down to this time right now, to this transmission. And then release the hands. So that is your little takeaway practice from this first session. Orienting to your space. Could even be orienting to your body, kind of noticing how your body is. Grounding, noticing the earth under you. And then practicing that Samavritti breath. Really simple. The next thing we're going to do is do a little intonation, a little sounding with our breath and with our voice. And so we're going to do a 3 sound part, and then we're going to put it all together. Many of you will recognize this. The first sound is ah. You're just going to open your mouth and you're going to release the sound. And when you release the sound, I want you to see if you can connect with any vibrations you might feel in the root of your body, in the base of your pelvis, in the gut. Base of the pelvis and gut. Second sound that we will make is the sound of ooh. The mouth closes a little bit more, and see if you can sense that in the heart space. So we move up a little bit. The third sound we're going to make is the sound of and we're going to feel that more in the mouth and the throat and the head, perhaps. We're going to do each of those 3 times, and we're going to put them all together in one sound. We're going to put them all together so that each of those sounds has about 25% of your breath, and the last 25% will be silence. Okay? So no one can hear you. You can just hear me. So I encourage you to really allow yourself to express the energy in your body in sound. It's an amazing way to release. And then the other thing that this sounding does is it stimulates the vagus nerve, which we're going to talk more and more about. Okay? Vagus nerve is this big, fat nerve that comes out from your cranium and innervates all of these organs in our belly that are controlled by the parasympathetic nervous system. The things that are constantly moving, grooving, even when you're not thinking about it. Your liver, your gallbladder, your spleen, your stomach, your digestive system. Okay? All these things are going on all the time, and you don't have to say, hey, stomach, let's digest breakfast now. It's just going to do it. We're going to talk about how that gets turned on and how that gets turned off. But today I just want you to know that this is the beginning, and sound is an important part of this therapeutic practice. So here we go. Find a comfortable position. Once again, feel free to shift. Take a deep breath in. We're going to make the sound ah 3 times. 3 breaths. Breath in. And see if you can feel that tingling in your gut. Breathe in. Second sound is ooh. See if we can feel it around the heart. Breath in. Ooh. Third sound, And you'll perhaps sense it more in the mouth and the head. Breath in. Put all those sounds together in the sound of Aum. Each sound, about 25% of your breath, reserving about 25% at the end to exhale in silence. 3 of these. Deep breath in through the nose. Breath in. Last one. Relax into the space. Notice. Our parasympathetic nervous system is part of our autonomic nervous system, so it's automatically in action without us having to think about it. The other part is the sympathetic. You may have heard these referred to as the fight or flight, sympathetic, or the rest and digest, the parasympathetic. When we're under stress, whether it's life-threatening or just minor stress from our constant onslaught of societal norms and jobs and family, all the things that we try, these boxes we try to fit into, or perhaps some real, life-threatening stress. A lot of people are dealing with different diseases and ailments, and it can be quite stressful. The body is under an onslaught of hormones then, like cortisol, adrenaline, epinephrine, that end up taking over and doesn't allow our parasympathetic nervous system to get the attention it needs or the energy. When we slow down and we sound and we breathe and we do these gentle movements, it allows our nervous system to switch into this rest and digest. And that's where the healing happens. The healing just really can't occur when we're moving and doing and tasking and pushing ourselves. Just notice how it feels to be here and to do these simple practices. Little shifts you might feel in your body. Sighs, yawns, gurgles in your stomach, all signals that the parasympathetic nervous system is being turned on. It's being activated. And so now let's come down to our space, our yoga mat, perhaps covered with a blanket or just a simple, smooth floor. And we're going to begin to explore somatic movements. So somatic movements can be thought of as yin movements. If you are familiar with the terms yin and yang, the yang energy is a solar heating energy in the body. And the yin energy is this slower, lunar, cooling energy. And it's constantly going on in our world, in our life, in our bodies, in nature. And they're both important, right? Sometimes we need to get up and move and be activated and exercise and run and do power yoga. And, here in the New River Gorge, we like to do the stairs, 800 more stairs, and really challenge our body and put that good stress. Okay? But then we need to make sure we're incorporating yin movements, meditation, somatic, slow yoga practices. And that's what we're going to bring in with this series. So come to your mat and go ahead and lie flat on your back. In yoga, this is called Shavasana. And it's going to be the resting position that we take quite a bit in this class. We'll do some movements and then we'll come back to rest in this position. Okay. Do have your yoga strap nearby. And then come all the way down. And if you have your hair in a ponytail, a bun, or a braid, I encourage you to take it out and then just give your head a little bit of a massage if you're shampooing your hair. And then stretch all the way out. And if it's uncomfortable to lie like this, just completely stretched out, then bend the knees, take the feet wide apart, as wide as perhaps that yoga mat under your blanket, and let the knees rest together. And for those of you that can extend the legs out, extend the arms about 45 degrees. So a T position, okay, will be about 90-degree angle from the body. And so about 45 or 60 degrees away from the torso, lower than the heart, hands are lower than the heart. And then drop in. So you may have this feeling like, oh, I want to wiggle and move and twist my body. I can feel the tension in it this first thing this morning, or maybe in the evening if you're doing this practice later. Just rest here, be still, and notice what it's like in your body today. Energy is constantly expanding and contracting. And so perhaps you might notice muscles in your body that feel contracted, that feel tight. Areas of your body that might feel tight. Soreness, perhaps pain. Pain is a spectrum. It can kind of, sometimes we have this chronic pain. It can be just dull achiness. Or sharp, searing pain. We never want to move into that kind of pain. This class is going to be slow and gentle, and hopefully you're moving in a very slow, gentle way. And so if you approach a position in your body that feels quite uncomfortable, notice and sense if it's not a position that feels safe for your body. You gently back off. So let's orient here. So notice again temperature, smells, tastes. What do you hear? Maybe with eyes closed, you notice the light filtering through the eyelids, or you can open your eyes and notice your space. And then feel your body resting on the earth. Notice the parts of your body that are making contact with the floor, back of the hands, head, shoulders, bottom. And can you notice if one side of the body, if you were to just bisect the body left to right, does one side of your body feel heavier than the other? We use these different techniques to come into more awareness of our physical body. And then breath. Breathe in and out. Today, Samavritti breath, even fluctuations of the breath. See if we can inhale for a count of 4 or 5 or 6. And exhale for the same length. As you inhale, feel the belly expand. As you exhale, feel the belly soften. And then from here, you're going to bend the knees. We'll talk about the movements more in length at another time. And today I'm wanting you to have a little sequence of movements that you can practice. So the sounding of Om, the noticing of your breath, inhale and exhale for smooth, even breath, and a simple short sequence. Those of you that are yoga teachers, you can work this into classes you teach. And those of you that hopefully have a daily home practice, you can work this into your home practice, and it could be a simple, sweet practice all by itself. First movement is going to be spinal undulation 1. Our feet are flat and our pelvis is in a neutral position. It's in your neutral. So notice as you bend your knees, what's the space like under your low back? Do you have a lot of space? Do you have a little bit of a space there? Does your back feel really flat and heavy? And imagine now I was going to put a grape under your low back. I want you to take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, imagine you're going to squish that grape and sense how your pelvis is tipping backwards. It's called a posterior tilt of the pelvis. If you had a bowl of water, you'd be spilling it towards your head. And then on the inhale, spill the water in the opposite direction towards your feet. So it's called an anterior tilt. And now you've got quite a bit of space under your low back. Like I could slide a Matchbox car into your back room and it would just slide right under it. Those of you with kids. And then on the exhale, squish that grape, posterior tilts of the pelvis. And on the inhale, arch the back, anterior tilt. And it could be helpful for those of you beginning to learn these movements in your body to put your hands on the hip bones and feel the way the pelvis is moving. And what we're doing here is we're rocking on the sacrum, inhaling to arch, exhaling to flatten, rocking the pelvis. And I want you to slow it down. And then notice, what's this like for you? What's it feel like? Is it slightly uncomfortable or painful? And also, which muscles do you feel working in your body? You don't have to know the names of them. You feel any muscles in the front of the belly working? You feel any muscles in the low back working? And bring more breath into this. Deeper exhale, a slower, sweeter inhale. We're going to continue so that this just feels, for me, I get this sensation like I'm on a swing, just gently rocking back and forth. And then with your next exhale, as you squish that imaginary grape, tip your chin towards the ceiling. Maybe you try to look at the wall behind you. And as you inhale and you arch your back, take your chin to your chest, like you're going to squish maybe like a clementine into your chin. As you flatten your back, tip your chin towards the sky. We're creating this now arch in our neck. And as we inhale and now we arch our back, we're going to essentially flatten the curve of the neck. Now we're getting this wave-like movement all along the spine. Flowing with the breath. And again, see if you can make it a little bit slower, longer breath. And then begin to make the move even more subtle. Until you're barely moving the body. It's ever so slight until you find stillness. Take the feet a little wider apart, let the knees rest together, and then let your arms drape over you, turning inward, giving yourself a gentle hug. If you want, you could even wrap your hands around you, give yourself a hug here. And then just let that action of the hug go, but the arms stay there draped. And then unwind the arms. The arms are going to come out in a T position. Ideally, in your space that you're practicing, you have 360 degrees around your body to move without walls or chairs there. But wherever you're practicing is perfect. If you need to wiggle or move your body so that you have the space, do so. Feet are wide apart. Let's open our knees now. Then our knees are about as wide as the feet, and feet are wider than the hips. My feet are as wide as my yoga mat. And then from here, we're going to drop the knees to the right. We often call these windshield wipers. What we're doing is we're starting to create this rotational movement in our spine. Knees come back up to the center and pause. And then drop your knees to the left. Take a deep breath in here, big opening to the right side of your body. And then come back to the center and pause. This rocking, swaying movement, so beneficial to our nervous system. When a baby cries, we would pick it up, rock it, and say, shh. It's that smooth sound. We're beginning to rock our own bodies is self-soothing. As children, when babies cry, they shake and they tremble to release tension, to release trauma. Animals will do it in nature, little kids will do it. But as we get older, it becomes perhaps not accepted in our situation, or you may have had parents that told you to stop crying or buck up buttercup or shake it off. We don't actually get to shake it off. And so these somatic movements allow our body to shake it off, to shake off perhaps tension, deep-seated trauma. Just begin to move in a very organic way here. Moving side to side. Now as the legs drop to the left, look to the right. Reach out through that right arm. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, come back to the center, sigh and pause and rest. And drop the knees to the right, look to the left, breathe in, stretch and reach. And on the exhale, back to the center and pause. And so now moving now in your own body and exploring these big stretches and the release on the exhale back to center. Allow the head to turn left and right in opposition to the knees. And gaze out towards the hands and stretch out through the fingertips. And then relax back to the center. Do that a couple more times to each side. As we move together, you're going to notice differences between the left and the right sides of your body and differences between one week to the next. From back to the center, let your knees fall into rest. Keep your arms out in that T position. And then with your arms heavy, rotate your arms so your palms come towards the floor. And your arms are going to roll in the direction towards your head. This is called external rotation of the arms. And then let the arms come back to the center, palms up and rest. And then rotate your arms towards the feet and keep twisting the arms as much as you can. Maybe your pinky fingers lift up. And then relax. Notice what that feels like. Not only through your fingers and your wrists and your arms, but up into your shoulders and your neck. Relaxing, going back and forth. And then let one arm go in one direction and one arm go in the other direction. Relax on the exhale. Feel the tingles and the pulses and the release. And then do that to the other side. And then whichever arm is moving in external rotation, so it's moving away from the center of the body, it's moving towards the head, drop your knees in the opposite direction. So right now I have my right arm moving in external rotation, my left arm moving in internal, and my knees fall to my internally rotated arm. And you know what? If you go in the opposite direction, it's okay. You're not going to hurt yourself here. And you're really just exploring these movements, these twisting and untwisting movements, or winding up and unwinding, so spinal unwinding. These pulsing, these contracting and expanding movements. Soothing for the parasympathetic nervous system. You're in the comfort of your own space, so sometimes tears well up. Big sighs and release it. Just let yourself express it. Whatever bubbles up, gurgles up, percolates up, allow yourself to experience it fully. And the next time you come back to the center, stretch out, release back into a resting position and just let go. Notice what it feels like in your body. Hopefully you're feeling some release. We're going to slowly take our time. So if you can shift your body so you kind of come to your belly without really lifting your head up. So you just roll to your side. Forehead stays down and you thread your arms through. Coming to rest on the belly, we're going to stack our palms under our forehead. This is our prone position of Shavasana. It's called Makrasana, the crocodile pose. Elbows out to the sides, stacked palms, head releases, legs relax. And then just let your pelvis rock you. Shimmying your hips left to right. Let your feet rock. Breathing in and out.
And then relax. And on the inhale, we're going to tuck all 10 toes under. Walk your toes under and push through your toe tips so your knees lift up. Power those legs. And then exhale and relax. And then do that again. Tuck all 10 toes under. Work the toes under. Squeeze the legs. Exhale. Relax. Let's do that one more time on the inhale. Tuck your toes, walk your toe tips under, squeeze the legs. Maybe even squeeze your gluteal muscles, pressing the front of your pelvis down into the earth. And then relax. And then we're going to do that again and adding in a lift of the head. This is a nascent movement, so you'll see little babies do this as they start to take in their surroundings. Exhale, come all the way down and relax. Inhale, tuck toes under, press into the palms, lift the head, squeeze the lower body, legs, glutes. Exhale, all the way down. Relax. Inhale, tuck toes, lift up. And now moving with your own breath and your own range of motion through your spine. Moving into spinal extension, and on the exhale, release completely. Inhale, toes tuck, lift up, lengthen. Maybe the gaze starts to lift. Exhale all the way down, relax. Couple more. Next time you come up, we're going to hold this. So we're going to tuck the toes and lift up. Maybe your elbows can slide in a little bit. And then just pause here. If it feels too intense, come down a little bit. Energize, keep breathing. And then exhale all the way down and relax. And then from here, we're just going to simply slide our upper body to the left. You can even look to your left. Tuck your toes under, as we did before, and then push through the right elbow and the right heel. So the right side of the waist and the body gets longer, and the left side gets a little bit shorter. And then relax. Slide back to the center, untuck your toes, forehead down. And then slide your upper body. Slide, slide, slide to the right. Don't force it, just go where is comfortable. Look to the right. Tuck toes, lift those knees. And then push through your left elbow, left heel. Pelvis stays in a neutral position. Hip bones are on the earth. Breathe into that. And then exhale back to center. So sliding now to the left. Tuck toes, push through, right elbow, right heel. And if you want, you could lift your head up. And then exhale, bring the head down. Slide back to the center. Pause. This is important. We'll talk about the pause later. Slide to the right, tuck toes, maybe head lifts, and you look to the right. And then slide back and release. Try that one more time on your own. Don't be in a rush. Maybe you want to take extra breaths. And then come back to the center and do that little pelvic rock again. So your hips and your legs and your thighs are swaying. And then roll back to your back. Try to keep your head down. And then we're going to do what I call the Etch-A-Sketch. If you remember that toy we had when I was little, and you could use the knobs to draw pictures, and you would hold that whole case and you'd shake it, erasing everything. So we're going to just shake our whole body. So shake your hips, your chest, your head. Let it be pretty subtle, not too aggressive here. And then relax and turn your toes in and out and in and out and go fast. So your whole lower body, legs, hips are rocking in and out. Let momentum do this. Rock, rock, rock. 108 times, give or take. Keep going, keep rocking. And then relax. And then let your head roll a little bit, not intensely, just let it rock a little bit. And then deep breath in and exhale, big sigh. Take your chin to your chest and press through the back of the skull so your chest goes up a little bit more and drop back down to the floor. And notice what this is like for you. To do just a handful of somatic movements. Movements that allow our body to feel safe and comfortable, to bring back normal range of motion. Rocking, gliding movements, activating nervous system, parasympathetic nervous system, our rest, our digest, also called our tend and befriend. So we're tending to our body like we tend to our gardens. We're befriending our bodies. And so from here, very last thing today, I'm going to take our yoga strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, but you do have a wall nearby, you could just scoot towards your wall. Try not to get up. Try to keep your head down to the ground. And just put your legs up the wall. But if you have a strap, I'm going to show you another option, another way. We're going to take this strap and we're going to put our legs through it. And then work it all the way up under our upper back. So really right at the base of the shoulder blades. And so we're in like a really big loop. And then we're going to put our feet up into the strap. I think I have 8-foot straps. If it's a shorter strap, or maybe this is a 10-foot strap, I think it's a 10 or 12-foot strap actually. If you have like a 6 or an 8-foot strap, it's not going to work because you really need the length of your legs times 2, and if you're taller. And then I'm going to release the strap a little bit so that my feet can fall into the strap. And the strap is looped on my back, so I'm not holding the strap at all. And if you need to adjust a little bit, shortening the loop or move it up a little bit higher on the back. So now the legs are held in this Viparita Karani position. Legs up the wall, but we're not using the wall. And the weight of the legs dropping down into the back of the pelvis, into the sacrum. And then the arms come out to the sides and we're held. If this feels uncomfortable for you in your pelvis and your sacrum, just come back to rest in Shavasana or with your feet wide and your knees falling in towards each other with bent knees. We're going to rest. We're going to come back to our Samavritti breath, whichever position you're choosing to take. Shavasana, legs up the wall, bent knees, or this position with the strap, Viparita Karani. Breathe. Feel the weight of your skull dropping into the earth. We're going to talk about the limbic center of the brain later on in the series. What's going on there? Why is it important to the somatic practice? But for now, just notice the back of your skull, the back of the neck soft, breath soft. Perhaps you're noticing that the breath is longer and deeper, smoother. You don't feel like you can really drop into the strap, and just take it off and rest with your legs out. But hopefully with your feet in the strap, you are letting the weight of your legs, all the weight of your legs drop, and the weight of your arms, and the weight of your head. You're dropping the load of stress you carry. You're putting that baggage down for a moment. Now, because you're practicing in the comfort of your own home, you can stay here for as long as you'd like. Whenever you're ready, you'll lift your hips up, you'll slide that strap out, and you'll come back to Shavasana. And you'll notice, what's it like now? Wow. We oriented to our body before by bisecting the body left and right and noticing if one side of the body felt heavier than the other. For me, my right side really felt elevated off the ground. And now I feel heavier and balanced between the right and the left sides. What's it like for you? And when you're ready, we'll bend the knees, rock to our side, all the way over to rest our head on the arm. And then as you come up, let the head be heavy. Head turns down to the ground. As you come up, just come to find your sitting position. You've got your cushion nearby. Scoot in under your hips again. And our most simplest position we can take sitting is just Sukhasana. We cross our shins or our ankles, and we let our legs rest. Whatever position you started in, we're going to be exploring different positions to meditate on through this series. So many things to get to. Whichever position you came into, find it again. Take a deep breath in and exhale all the way out. Let's end our class today with just one of those Ms. Palms to the heart. Deep breath in. Deep out gratitude. Deepest gratitude to all of the teachers that I have had the opportunity to learn from. These healing practices, somatic practices, as my teacher T.S. Little calls them, the Satya practices. Sensory awareness, training for yogic attunement. Tuning our bodies like a
instrument. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, those of you here virtually, and those of you that are joining us for this exploration. Please do not hesitate to message me or email me with questions or feedback. I'd love to hear how this series is going for you, or any questions that arise. I'd be happy to address them in the next series, do my best to address them. So thank you again so much, and have a wonderful rest of your day.